Everybody. Today we're talking about Quantum Leap episode. Did you say 16 months? 16. Ben interrupted 20 of the 2022 run of the new Quantum Leap adventures. Anyway, let's get on with the review because I've been looking forward to doing this one. Not really. You have to get past, take the good with the bad. This one's, I almost said weak. This one's villain was Dr. Mueller. And Ben leaps into a private eye who is investigating Dr. Mueller. Dr. Mueller is very much like John Harvey Kellogg was in, like, back when he was a doctor at the Battle Creek Sanitarium. You know, giving people yogurt enemas and using them as lab rats and, you know, fun stuff like that. Loving his fellow man. Just, this guy's a piece of work. I thought, if I thought, which I did, that the landlord, not restaurant owner, the landlord was bad from Family Style, Dr. Mueller put her to shame. I mean, at the very end, you find out he lost his medical license, and he can't experiment on people anymore. But they admit they were he was using them as the people in the sanitarium Ben ends up being committed to as lab rats. Without going too personal, I'm kind of scared of hospitals, so to me, this was a very creepy episode. And I think they went out of their way to make it creepy. You know, they put screaming in, and I mean, the 1950s was a very dark time in mental health, but this episode was particularly creepy. And I know they stuck people like me with disabilities in with the mentally the the criminally mentally unwell. So, and I do know that people like Dr. Mueller existed. Like I said, John Harvey Kellogg definitely was one. Yogurt enemas. Yeah. Look it up. But they do get this lady that's employing Ben gets her sister back. And it is happy endings all around. But you find out that Ziggy is the mole. Because okay, let me back it up a little bit. In the B plot, you follow that Janice, Al's daughter, has escaped her house arrest, or at the very least activated the bracelet. and does that because she wants to talk to Magic. Um, because she claims she knows what Ben's final destination is. That she has information, more specifically. She also claims there is a mole. And you find out Ziggy, like I said, is that mole. Because she gets to talk to Magic. And it turns out that she doesn't want Magic's phone tracing them. And she she asked, I mean, he asked, well, why? Like, what are you talking about? That sort of thing. And explains that I don't want HQ following you. And that, she has known the whole time that Ziggy is the mole. And she has known that Martinez is using the same Ziggy in the future. Without spoiling too much, you do get to see Martinez again. They briefly work together to get Ben out of the asylum. But he turns coat, stabs him, and Ben almost dies. But um Janice says that that he is receiving instructions from the mole. So then at the end they get in, because I have seen the last episode, they get involved in multiple timelines. They kind of rip off Star Trek a little bit. But we'll get there when we get there. But for now, if you're a fan of Martinez, this is definitely his episode. Because he ori- he originally was part of the hospital system. Like, he jumped into one of the orderlies, and then they determine that he can see Addison too. It reminded the person I watched this with too. It's, it reminded the person I watched this with that the doctor reminded him of Scarecrow from Batman. I know I'm throwing in lots of syllables and extra vowels and crap today, but basic gist, it reminded him of Batman, and I gotta say, I kind of agree. I gotta say, it definitely did have that Batman peering into his face type of vibe for a minute there. And part of it was enjoyable. It's part of it, you get that heart rate a pumping, you know. But part of it, as I said, really, it was like the worst episode this season. After watching the whole thing, and I'm glad he only jumps back to this moment, like very minimally. It was a very minimal glimpse. Because you get glimpses like, again, we'll get there when we get there. But like I pointed out in the last video, Dr. Mueller is played by Jimmy Barrett from Mad Men. I don't know the actor's name, but I know he was in Once Upon a Time, and he played Jimmy Barrett from Mad Men, the comedian, who's, if you've ever seen that show, whose wife, Dawn, is having an affair with. But we're here talking about Quantum Leap. So, in this show, that actor is not just a lousy comedian. He is a real piece of work. I mean, I'd like to say that those two appearances connected. That he might that Mueller might have been a comedian in a past life, but this was a far cry from Jimmy Barrett. He Ben said he painted himself as an angel, and I absolutely agree, or something to that effect. That he painted himself as an angel to people like me, but really he was very much a villain. He wasn't just an evil landlord or some boogeyman he could easily stop. There were a bunch of these guys all over the country. And that's what I think made this episode just jive in that hole for me. Um, I don't want to give away the rest because you got a lot of good episodes coming. You got like Friendly Skies, and at one point you do get to see the future. And I know I'm rambling, but I always do when I reach the end. I never know how to end these things. I've been doing it for years now, and I still don't know how to end them. But needless to say, if you like what you saw, give me a like, give me a subscribe. My name is Bob. This is The Other World According to Bob. I review comics, books, and TV shows like Quantum Leap. I view every single one of you as a friend. If you're subscribed to me. Um, and if you've left a comment, I try to respond to all of you, but sometimes I don't exactly leave the biggest response. But I, I know you're there, and that's all that matters. So, like I close down every episode. I've been Bob. This has been The Other World According to Bob. Bob out. I don't want to spoil any more of Quantum Leap. Let me know what you thought of the episode. Was my summary on point? Or was it far off in left field? Let me know. We'll talk about it. See you there. Alright.